Okay, so officially calling the meeting to order. It's 6:02. Do we have anyone from the public?
No, we do not.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was September 27th or 28th?
27th.
27th.
I looked through them and I thought they were perfect.
You hear that, Delene? Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So then I guess that is a move to approve.
Correct.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sonia. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Good, thanks. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to approve the schedule for meetings in the calendar year 2023. I'm assuming that was attached to the same email as the agenda.
Yes, I can share it if you'd like it, just so you can see the dates.
Sure. Can you scroll up so we could see the whole list?
Yeah. That's basically all of the list right there. And I didn't bother scheduling one on December.
Yep, because we always end up canceling it.
December
Yeah, we might
26th.
want to take, June, July, or August, maybe like July or like under advisement, because that's kind of, nothing's really happening then, and we tend to cancel that one. But we can,
I can
I don't
either
know, do
cancel
we
it
want to
now or I
decide
can
on
leave
that
it.
now?
I can do one or the other. I can either take it out now when I submit it to the city clerk, or I can leave it and then we cancel it when we go.
I think we take it out now.
All right,
We've
July?
canceled it almost every year that I'm aware of.
Okay, July.
Yeah. Do people agree?
Yeah.
I agree with
no,
that.
We're
We're
not
gonna
doing
cancel it
anything.
anyway. Take it
Yeah,
out.
we're not doing anything. I mean, August makes sense because, we're talking about upcoming spring plantings. June, we can finish up upcoming fall, we can finish up spring, but July, I kind of feel like is nothing.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Other than that, dates look good.
Okay, I'll send that to the city clerk.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
All right, any news with the tree planting program? I know we have a lot of places listed here. Can you just give us a quick overview on the number of trees you're planning to get in and when?
Right now, we've got in the neighborhood of about 120 in the ground. We've ordered 150 to date, and we're going out to stake more. We'd probably be close to 200 for this fall planting season.
And I think that's what you and Rich were discussing, meeting up to stake out some more.
Yes,
So when is our drop dead date here? When is our last time that we're putting in something for this this spring?
I'd like to order them like the first week.
Fall.
of
I
November.
keep getting everything confused. Fall.
I'd like to order them for the first week of November, so that way they're ordered and in the ground by like the second or third week, by the time we get a good frost.
So these are not ones that you're planning to plant this fall.
Yes,
Okay. So tell me again, how many do we have in the ground?
we've got in the ground now, we've got about 120 plus or minus in the ground. It's changing daily. We've ordered about 150 to date. And with what we will finish staking out with the group of these for the fall planting cycle, it'll be approximately 200 trees planted,
So you need to order another 50 trees.
roughly. And
And then we
I
need
had
to-
10 of them. I had 10 of them I staked out today,
Okay. And then we need to plant about another 80 is what we're looking at.
40.
Just doing the math. 120 to 150 is 30, and then to 200 is another 50.
We've already
80.
ordered the 30. They're all
Right, but we
staked.
need to plant 80.
They're going in the ground as we speak.
Okay. And then, so we want to finish up in the beginning of November. Okay, sounds good.
The last orders in the
good.
first week of November, so they're planted by the second or third week.
Yep, okay. Although I don't know about you guys, but I think I had a frost already over here. We had to bring all the tomatoes in, right, guys?
I
We
had
had,
two,
we had,
two
a-
frosts already.
yeah, we've had frost already, so.
We're talking about a hard frost.
Yeah, my chickens are not happy. Okay, who wants to talk about the grant-funded planting on Wilton Avenue? And I'm assuming, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the meeting that Jessica wants to have? Is
No,
for that area? That's different. Okay,
that's a different meeting, which it's on the agenda down below. The TMP Health Department grant funded planting was one that we did up on Wilton Avenue where we staked out and we planted 38 trees at various locations, and they had the ribbon cutting ceremony a few weeks back. And that was funded with a grant from the health department, and TMP paid for some of the trees also. And then our ARPA money we used to pay for some of the money for the trees.
so how
too.
many trees were planted as a result of that effort?
38,
And is that included in your 120?
yes.
It is, okay. And then how many were planted in Dr. Martin Luther King corridor?
All right, we haven't done anything, staked anything else out there yet. And one of the reasons is because of the meeting that you were just talking about down below.
Yeah,
And we can talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
so no trees have been planted for this corridor initiative yet.
In this fall cycle.
Okay, got it. Okay. Meeting with South Norwalk residents and Dr. Martin Luther King Drive Corridor Initiative. Okay, this is the same thing.
Yes,
Is there a meeting planned or the meeting took place already?
this meeting is planned. Jessica Vonacek, the Chief of Economic and Community Development, wanted to meet with the residents of South Norwalk and the Martin Luther King Corridor Initiative Committee to review potential planting locations.
So is
And-
that the email, Paul, that I got inviting me to a meeting on like Thursday, November 5th or something like that?
It's
Fourth.
on November 3rd. Yes.
Should be November 4th.
it's
Whatever
November-
that Thursday is, I know it's a Thursday because I had to rearrange my Thursday schedule. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
it's the
guys in a
3rd.
second.
It's the 3rd.
I put down the third, so if it's not, let me know.
November
the-
3rd. No, Sonia's right. November 3rd. It's a Thursday. Okay.
It's November 3rd between 10 to 12 at the
10 to
South Norwalk
12.
Public
At the South Norwalk
Library
Library.
Community Room.
Yes. We'll send out an internal reminder for everyone just before that date to remind us about it. But I saw all of us on the invite from Jessica.
Eric,
this
is that
basic-
not your busy day with campus and everything though?
Wednesday is my super, super busy day. Thursday, I have teaching from up until 2 o'clock. So I just kind of rearranged my morning to be my afternoon.
Okay,
Yeah, so it makes for a later day for me, but I think it's important for all of us to be there.
yeah, I got on my calendar to be there.
And
Yeah,
what this is about is rather than just focusing just solely on the Martin Luther King Drive itself, she'd like to have the in-person meeting where we'll have maps laid out and stickers for residents that can indicate possible locations on some of the side streets off of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive to go into some of the residential areas too, to spread that grant around. And where there's a mapped area of the actual grant mapped corridor, and it's not just Martin Luther King, it goes out and those maps will be displayed and then people can look. We're gonna set up the tables with maps on them and a map of the actual grant area, and then people can take a look at the tree list that we have for the contract and then say, hey, yeah, I'd like one here, and they can put dots on the maps, and then we can take that back and look at it to review where we would spread some more of the Martin Luther King Initiative money around. And that
Yep.
money was, the grant for Martin Luther King was $250,000 for specifically for trees, as well as there's another $50,000 for GGP money in South Norwalk for a total of $300,000. And that's aside from the ARPA money that we've talked about.
Awesome. So I'm sure Jessica will give us a super rundown of it. And I think a lot of us are looking forward to meeting her and meeting with her.
She's
So-
also going to attend the District B meeting in November to kind of go through the same thing for anybody that could not meet at the library. Because, I told her, I said, that's daytime. People are at work.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. It's a very odd time to pick to have a community meeting. I agree with you. And I definitely shifted things around, not knowing that they were going to have a plan B. But I think that's awesome. Because then between the two, we should have
Yeah.
pretty decent representation.
Mhm.
So that's really good to know. Thanks for sharing that. Eversource revised planting plan at Oak Hills. I don't know if is it just me, but I thought that was done.
No, Peter gave us a map that we submitted to Eversource, and Eversource has now come back with what they'd like to see and have agreed that they will do, and it's a little different. And I
Okay.
I can display the map if you'd like to see it.
Sure. I mean, Peter's not here. He should be the one to kind of go over that, right? Because he did the he was like the landscape architecture on that, right?
Yeah, and I can just quickly show you what there are some areas where a lot of the trees that they've got are what he had on the list, but there are some that are a little different, and basically they didn't do anything outside of the power zone area, which we kind of suspected that they probably would not do. I know Peter asked for what would be a big ask, hoping we'd get at least some of it, and we did. So what I can
Right.
do is
No,
can
I
go-
remember kind of going in with like, a huge wish list and seeing, what would stick. So overall, I think we're happy with what they're doing, correct?
It looks pretty good, but what I want to do is I want to meet with Peter, but I just wanted to let the committee members know that they've come back now with a counter offer, and this is it. I can meet with Peter and then we can come to agreement. If he's okay with it, then I'll sign the documents to have the plantings done.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and if no one else agrees, I think we agree that Peter should sign off on this. This is kind of his project. And I mean, it looks like they're putting in almost 20 plants.
Yeah, some of them are 8 to 10 feet. We had the viburnum on there. We had the summer sweet on there, so.
No, I know we were focusing on native plants and it looks like they're giving us a good deal of what we wanted. So does
Yes.
anybody have a comment about this or?
I would just comment that the sooner we get that stuff in the ground, the better, because
Mhm.
since those trees have been removed.
I agree. And we don't want people to change their minds. We're
Thank-
talking about getting this stuff for free. So I agree with Rich. Reach out to Peter sooner than later, get it signed off and get it moving. I mean, clearly we have until the second or third week in November. So
Okay, like I said, I wanted to let the committee know that they finally, and in the last week or two, came back to me.
great. Paul, in terms of the watering schedule, do we have anything to be concerned about or are we all good?
No, everything's good on that. They're continuing to do the work.
Yeah, awesome. They're a good company. Tree City USA, do you need anything from us?
The submission deadline is January 13th. I'm gonna start putting the package together. Usually in December, we'll get the financials. And then I was gonna try and hit some of the highlights of what we've done with the overall planting program. And then even with the mapping that we've done, I'm gonna see if we can get maybe something for the growth award credit for that. So I'm gonna pick the projects that we've got. And once we see the final list and if it fits, I may get back to people and ask for some things if we've got like documentation. Maybe if you had the description of the grant, of what was in the grant language originally, just the description, I have you give that to me to include in the application, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Nope, that sounds great. And they're super lenient and they know that not everybody is 100% in person with things. So I definitely wouldn't worry about it.
Yep, so-
Norwalk Public Safety Open House. Was that the DPW program?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
On October 1st, from 9 to 12, we had approximately 400 people attend. We had the tree advisory committee table, and then Olmsted and Minutemen also had their own tables set up. The Tree Alliance had a table set up. Jeff was there. And we ended up getting some requests at the tree advisory table for about 5 or 6 trees. People left requests for some trees which are being incorporated into the list.
Good.
Awesome. And I know that 400 in attendance was really amazing, because I don't know if people remember, but October 1st, I think it was like a rainstorm, or like it was like torrential downpour. So to have that many people there is pretty impressive. Arbor Day celebration, what do we have going on?
I've made contact, as per our discussion at the last meeting. I've made contact with Principal Casey Cummings at Rowayton Elementary School, and she's going to get back to me after she talked to some of the people on her staff and let me know whether they would definitely be interested. She sounded excited about it, but I'm waiting for the return call to confirm that they will host it.
Awesome. And who's our plan B?
Plan B was going to end up being, I think it was, hold on one second. Got it right here. Plan B was going to be Silvermine and then Fox Run.
Okay, awesome. So let's give them a deadline, when to hear back. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I'm
know
gonna
we're not
give her-
talking about something until April, but you need to include it in your report. So we have to have a deadline for them to get back to you so that you can then go to Silvermine.
Yeah, I was going to give her to
Oh,
the end of
Silvermine.
next week. And if I don't hear back, then we'll move on.
Awesome. Okay. And Jeff, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good,
Good to see
thanks.
everyone. Yeah, just quick updates on the Tree Alliance. So we've had a pretty busy fall. We've got about 53 total trees in the ground. 12 of them went to First Congregational Church in East or Norwalk Center, I guess it is. Then there's 16 at Autumn Lake Healthcare up in Cranberry. We planted 2 at Fodor Farm in our tree farm. We were thinking about potentially digging some trees out and doing some like root trimming to kind of prep some existing trees that we've had planted, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. So now they're pretty mature and, good looking trees. So we were trying to extend that program by planting some saplings. And those 30 trees were donated by Latter-day Saints. They had this whole program throughout Fairfield County of they were planting 250 some odd native hardwood trees throughout all of Fairfield County. And we were able to get 30 of them, which was great. Then we planted 4 with some SNEW money, grant money, 8 with the 3rd taxing district, and we planted 11 over at Pine Island Cemetery. We have the potential to do 4 at St. Mary's in Norwalk Center. And then Paul, potentially we have 9 over at Ponus Ridge Elementary School, which 6th grade teacher Joe had reached out and was looking to do some sort of, or potentially start like an arboretum and involve some of the kids involved in design and, rethink our campus so that the kids would be involved. But we've sort of, through the process, talked about, because it's city property, we'd have to link them in with the Olmsted contract. So Paul and I have been working with that and Ken Hughes. So that sounds like it's promising, potentially in the fall. So nine new trees there. Then education wise, we held our second educational walk over at Calf Pasture Beach, essentially teaching how trees are important to our water quality and what the water quality means. So our first walk was along Norwalk River Valley Trail with Peter Vitoretto. We kind of did a whole history of how Norwalk was developed and how it's come to be today, and the reasons why we see what we see, and what role trees play in that. And we also had a NOAA, so one of our board members is a NOAA biologist. So he was able to speak to what environments are in the water and how trees and water quality and stormwater runoff could impact that. So we took that essentially to the sound and spoke about different ecosystems like estuaries, which the Long Island Sound is essentially a giant estuary. So, but it's important because the Norwalk River goes into that and it's all connected. So it was sort of showing how, diverse our ecosystems are and how important each one of them are. And even from the span of, northern Norwalk all the way down to southern Norwalk, these ecosystems change, but they all play a huge role in keeping our systems healthy and essentially ourselves healthy.
I saw
so
some
that-
great pictures from that event, actually. What age group did you have there?
It was adults, so really, I would say, I don't know, 20s
Oh, that was an
to
adult program. Okay.
60s. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Oh,
it was
okay.
geared
Nice
towards
range,
everybody.
though.
Yeah, it was a great range. But it was nice because it's really geared towards everybody, and it's just geared towards our community. So local people came out, and we didn't have as many people as we hoped, but it was early on a Sunday. It was nice. Also, First Congregational Church, they seemed interested in adult education as well, or just all ages of education. They're looking to teach about tree equity and why trees are important to different communities, and it goes into the housing, the HUD stuff that Paul and the city, we've been working towards. The NTA would be planting trees at the housing authority, with the housing authority, right, Paul?
Yeah,
Um,
the tree advisory committee is doing the trees, yeah, with the housing authority, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's all linked in, and we want to spread the wealth around to everybody. So trees can't just go to one place. And then and they're important to just everything. Then they also have a farmers market pretty regularly in season. So that was something that we thought, we could maybe try and get involved in a little bit. And then I wanted to bring up Parking Day again, because it usually happens around September 16th-ish. So we didn't do it this year, but I think it's a really cool event to get the community involved and get some buy-in from the community as a whole, and just, share why trees are important and firsthand potentially get some businesses to buy in and buy a spot and decorate it and design it. So that's my spiel. So thank
One of
you
the
for
things-
having me.
One of
I
the
think
things
I
I was
missed
gonna
something
mention-
about Parking Day. What is that?
Oh, Parking Day is so basically companies or whoever, towns, it could be like a town event. They lease out a parking spot, and usually they happen in like downtown areas, city centers. So for instance, just for frame of reference, South Norwalk, Washington Street,
Mhm.
all those parking spaces on the side, like
Mhm.
they did for restaurants that turned it into outdoor dining. Essentially, they become designed parklets, and little vignettes of a park, and a company or somebody would pay money for that, and it'd be like a booth, and they can essentially do whatever they want, but it would be a theme of environmentally friendly design. So they could put down some turf and some trees or something. Like, let's say Corville had a spot, they could set up some trees, maybe give out some candy or have some food, and basically people go walk by and spend some time in a park. It could be even as simple as a bench, just for somebody to sit down and relax a little bit. So
No, it sounds super cute. You just have to have nice weather, right? The
exactly.
weather gods have to be on your side for that day.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to mention for the committee members, so that they were just aware of why we picked some of the locations, Jeff was just referring to the schools. We picked that under the Olmsted contract because obviously for a volunteer that planted a tree, it would be a lot harder to water a tree that's 300 or 400 feet off of a building and doesn't have access to a hose bib. So we put those under the Olmsted, or now the Minutemen contracts, so that they would have to water them instead of somebody else having to do it without the ability to do it. So that was why we were doing that.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Jeff. Does anyone have any other business? All right,
Oh, you know
then.
what? I do
Yeah,
I
go
do
ahead,
have a
Sonia.
quick question.
Sure.
I had mentioned at one of our previous meetings that a lot of the trees had died that were planted. And I know you told me, Paul, when they were gonna be replanted, but when I had my meeting this month, I drew a complete blank on it. Is it the spring?
What we're gonna do is, I've been working with Gary since Olmsted planted those. He's putting
Mhm.
together a list of all of the replacements that need to be done for
Okay.
me to review and say, yes, I agree, or there needs to be more added to it. And one of the ones obviously are the arborvitaes. Those all have to be replaced down there. So he was telling me that he would probably do those this fall.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
the arborvitaes will be done this fall, and then some of the deciduous trees, we're gonna evaluate whether they have buds on them and look like they're gonna survive. We give them till the spring. Otherwise, if
Okay.
we know they're dead, then he's gonna try and replace other deciduous trees in the fall too.
oh, okay, all right. Glad I did forget, because I thought it was the spring, but if it's gonna be in this fall, that'd be great.
He said the arborvitaes would be very easy to get, and those would probably be done in the fall.
Okay, awesome.
Very cool. Thank you.
I
All
have-
right.
Item, I know Cindy recommended her brother when she steps down, which I thought was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering, do we want to like wrangle him in and talk to him? So when Cindy leaves, we got somebody in place and see if he great substitute. I don't know if he'll be the perfect substitute, but
Well, okay, first of all, there is no substitute for Cindy. Okay, that's first of all. No, but I think it's a great idea. Maybe Cindy, you could see what your brother's schedule is like. Maybe our November meeting, he can jump on, or if we are even going to have a November meeting, is that like like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving?
I believe so.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the 22nd.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah, but maybe we could see if he could jump on one of these next few meetings, let's just say it like that, so that he can kind of meet us, we can meet him, he could see what we chat about and what the whole deal is. So he knows what he's getting himself into.
I'd be open to that. And I mean, I'm not leaving until at least May, but I wanted to throw it out there early because I know for me, the next 6-7 months are gonna fly.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
you're right. So you know what? That's perfect. Then we can even wait until 2023 to have him join us, because you're right. The next couple of months especially are just going to fly by with the holidays.
Yeah, maybe we get him for a January meeting.
January.
Perfect. Okay, let's get him on the agenda.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, guys, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Awesome. Have a
Good
good night, guys. Take
Have a good
care.
night.
Take care.
Okay.
you all. Have a
Bye.
great
Thank
Night,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Night.